Cat cannons are a great addition for your cat army while fighting enemy units on the field, but as version 14.1, we only have 8 different variants of the cat cannon, with 7 more unlockable in the Ototo development team. These 7 variants are upgradable from level 1 to level 30. While doing such process uses a lot of base materials, engineers, and time. With this in mind, what is your first priority from these 7 variants with their own unique niche, usage, and ability? In this video, we'll be ranking all of the 8 variants of the cat cannons and giving some notes on which cannon you should prioritize. Also, there will be no mentioning of foundation and style upgrades, since they have their own thing. This cannon being the first ever cannon to be unlocked in the game. It has been there since day 1 and has always been a go-to cannon in whatever stage you'll be battling. Great for clearing weak peons across the whole field, interrupting or sinking enemies, gaining a bit of distance, and clipping. Despite the total damage output of 4055, with treasures, the default cannon overall is a great versatile cannon. The regular cannon is a tier of B. This cannon fires a harmless green beam that applies the slow effect on enemies. Might sound very stunning except when you realize how little usage of it. The maximum slow duration of the slow beam is 5 seconds at max level. This cannon has very limited uses. One of those is slowing enemies on base hit, either to prevent enemies clipping into your front line such as Rolos or to cheese stages, but most of the time you are better off using another cannon instead. These are the material costs to max out the slow beam. And some other notes about the slow beam. The slow beam gets a priority ranking of C. Iron War can be summarized in this meme.
Mom, can we have Metal Cat?
No, there's Metal Cat at home.
Metal Cat at home. The Iron Wall, when activated, will summon a blue wall called the Iron Wall, and this thing is a cat unit, therefore it takes up the cat limit, so whenever this is on screen, it cannot summon. The Iron Wall doesn't attack, and has the metal ability with a max health of 18, with 1 point difference than Metal Cat's, who is a great cat to pair with Iron Wall. This cannon has very limited usage, and is mostly used to trap enemies behind their base when you trigger a boss wave, either to prevent them from clipping into your front line or to cheese the stage, with stats not being so significantly different per level. Here are the material costs for Iron Wall, and here are some notable notes for Iron Wall. Iron Wall gets a ranking of tier C as well. Despite its shocking name, this cannon applies freezes onto enemies and does less damage than the regular cannon. Thunderbolt fires based on the furthest cat unit currently on the field. If there is no cat on the field, it will fire at point blank. Best used when approaching enemies that normally you wouldn't be able to deal damage, like the ones that have a fast attack rate. The example of using Awakened Bahamut against Ross. Overall, Thunderbolt is a good cannon to put priority on. Here are the material costs, and these are the extra notes for Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt gets a ranking of B tier. Waterblast works exactly as Thunderbolt, except it does damage by percentage to metal enemies based on their remaining health, just like how Metal Killer ability works. It can only do damage to the remaining health, so it can never do the finishing blow to metal enemies. Works well against metals, but since it's limited to metals and only deals damage, you are better off using your materials on another cannon, since Waterblast ideally requires high level. These are the material costs for Waterblast and some excellent notes about it. Waterblast gets a pretty bad rating of D tier. This cannon has aspects borrowed from other cannons, such as the wave from regular cannon, the freeze from Thunderbolt, and the damage from Waterblast. The downside is it only affects the zombie trait. Unlike Waterblast, Holy Blast deals damage based on the enemy's max total health, meaning it can do the finishing blow to zombies. Along with Soul Strike and Zombie Killer, the Holy Blast affects the whole field while doing damage to both surface and rolling enemies. Holy Blast works so well against zombies even at level 1. Holy Blast is usable since the main ability is to unball zombies. One of the priorities since has great value for late game. Here are the material cards for Holy Blast and extra notes. Holy Blast gets a ranking of A tier. As the name implies, this cannon has a 100% chance to break alien barriers. The Breakerblast deals damage in an affected area and targets the nearest enemy. Not only does that, it deals damage along with knockback at a certain range. This is the best cannon when it comes to gaining stage distance and pushing back enemies, since it has a shorter cooldown compared to the default cannon. And upgrading this cannon will give it more range and damage, and for some reason, this cannon has Soul Strike ability. Here are the material cards for Breakerblast and some extra notes. The Breakerblast gets a rating of B tier. Fires a curse beam that curses enemy units on the field for a period of time. Just like the ability itself, this cannon variant has very niche usage, limited to enemies that apply stat effects to your cats, which can buy time equal to the enemy attack cycle, as opposed to using other variants that only reset their attack animation. Here are the material cards and extra notes about Curseblast. Overall, the Curseblast gets a tier rating of F tier. These are the overall rating of all cat cannons. You can upgrade your own choice of cannon, it doesn't have to follow my own opinion on this video. Use it to learn more about battle cats and reminder that not everyone's opinions are the same. There is no hint if opponents decide to add another cat cannon, but if they do, I will probably make a video about it. And one more thing to add is thanks for 3,000 views. The support is very much appreciated. With all said and done, thanks for tuning in.